Have you ever felt that someone close to you isn't what they seem? Or felt drained after a conversation? In this video, we reveal 11 clear signs of a malevolent person near you. These individuals subtly enter our lives, draining energy and creating negativity. Identifying them is crucial for protecting our peace and building healthy relationships. Stoic wisdom teaches us to observe others' actions to understand their character. By recognizing these signs, you can set healthy boundaries and live a wiser, lighter, and more conscious life. Let's begin. Malevolent people are highly controlling, feeling uncomfortable and powerless if they cannot dominate every aspect of their lives and those around them. They will go to great lengths to ensure things go their way, abusing their power if they face no resistance. Think of a boss who micromanages every detail of your work, not to help but because they need total control, or a friend who always decides where you go and what you do, disregarding others' opinions. Such behavior, often rooted in insecurity or a desire for power, stifles and can severely harm the emotional well-being of those around them. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that you have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When someone tries to control your life, they disrespect your autonomy and freedom. Stoicism invites us to recognize our capacity for choice and to set clear boundaries against such invasions. It's up to you to decide whether to accept this kind of relationship in your life. We cannot change someone's behavior or character, but we can decide whether it will be part of our daily life. These people may also manipulate situations to maintain control, creating strict rules or using emotional blackmail. A classic example is a partner who monitors your whereabouts, not out of concern but for the power to dominate your life. This need for control is not just annoying, it can be dangerous and gradually destroy your identity. When you constantly give in to another person's will, whether it's a friend, boss, or someone closer, you end up forgetting to be yourself. For Stoics, the only thing that truly belongs to us is our right to think and decide rationally how we act and react to what happens to us. That's why, if you recognize some of these signs of control, start setting clear boundaries and reaffirming your autonomy. It's a difficult but necessary process for your personal growth and emotional well-being. In the end, fighting for control of your life is worth it, as it's the key to a freer, more satisfying existence. Don't let others' domineering behavior take away your peace and personal power. Understand that your worth does not depend on others' approval but on living according to your principles by cultivating wisdom and virtue. One of the most obvious signs of a malevolent person is their enjoyment of others' suffering. Evil people find satisfaction in seeing others in pain, showing a total lack of empathy. If you know someone who delights in others' difficulties, making jokes or smiling at their suffering, it's a clear indicator that you're dealing with a malevolent person. Imagine a friend who, knowing your personal problems, makes a joke instead of offering support. Or a coworker who laughs at your struggles instead of helping when you're overwhelmed. These attitudes are not only insensitive but reveal a cruel character. Such people may even deliberately cause harmful situations for others. They enjoy spreading rumors or creating unnecessary conflicts just for the pleasure of seeing someone suffer. This type of behavior not only destroys harmony in any environment but also drains the emotional energy of everyone around. Epictetus reminds us that it's not the things that disturb us but our interpretation of them. Recognizing others' toxic behavior is the first step to protecting yourself emotionally, understanding that others' malice shouldn't define your reactions. You can choose not to be shaken and maintain your inner peace. Changing your attitude and protecting yourself from malevolent people requires courage and self-awareness. Reflect on your relationships and identify those that genuinely add value to your life. Distancing yourself from those who harm you isn't selfish but a way to protect and care for yourself. Surround yourself with people who respect and support you. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "Choose your companions wisely, for their influences will shape your character." Value your needs and feelings, and don't let others' negativity dominate your life. Don't accept being contaminated by your environment. Life is too short to live in the shadow of others' malice. Prioritize your well-being, surround yourself with good people, and build relationships based on respect and empathy. This also applies virtually. You can start by surrounding yourself with content that helps you rethink and grow every day. That's why it's important to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join those who are on the path to becoming the best version of themselves. Have you noticed that some people never take responsibility for anything? They always have an excuse or someone to blame when things go wrong. Malevolent individuals love playing the victim and never acknowledge their mistakes, making you feel guilty or forcing you to apologize for them. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." The refusal to admit errors hinders growth and learning. Imagine being involved in a significant project at work, and a colleague makes a mistake. Instead of admitting his fault, he remains silent. When the problem surfaces, he's the first to point fingers at you or another team member, claiming it's everyone's fault but his own. This creates a toxic work environment and makes you feel lost, taking responsibility for a problem that could have been corrected much earlier. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. If we allow these negative influences to contaminate our minds, we suffer the consequences. Another example is a friend or relative who is always in trouble and, instead of accepting that their choices led them to these situations, they blame others. If they get fired from their job, it's always the boss's or colleague's fault for not knowing how to work properly like them. If they're late for an appointment, it's the traffic's fault or someone else's who delayed them. If something goes wrong in their life, they never look at their actions but always find a way to blame others, God, or life, never considering revising their attitudes. This reminds us of the importance of choosing our company wisely. As Seneca said, life is like a play. What matters is not its length, but the quality of the performance. These people are experts at making you feel guilty for their mistakes. They manipulate situations so that you end up apologizing for something that wasn't even your responsibility. Like a boss, for example, who, in a moment of anger, yells at you. Later, you feel obliged to apologize for talking to him at that moment, even though you did nothing wrong. It's emotionally exhausting and traps you in a cycle of guilt and manipulation, gradually eroding your self-esteem. Therefore, start paying attention to the attitudes of those around you. If someone constantly refuses to take responsibility and tries to shift the blame onto you or others, it's a clear warning sign. Don't let these people affect your inner peace and confidence. This doesn't mean cutting ties overnight but learning to assert yourself, setting clear and firm boundaries so you don't end up trapped in an emotionally exhausting game. If you've ever fallen into this trap of feeling guilty for others' lack of responsibility, share your story in the comments and remember, from now on, avoid these emotional games. All men make mistakes, but only great men acknowledge their errors. This quote from Socrates reminds us that recognizing one's mistakes is a mark of greatness and humility. But unlike this greatness, malevolent people never feel remorse for their actions. This lack of repentance is not only a moral flaw but also a clear sign of a problematic character. Imagine a fruit tree in a garden. If its roots are diseased, even if the tree seems strong, its fruits will be bitter and will not grow properly. Similarly, a person who never feels remorse may seem reliable and charismatic on the surface, but their actions and decisions reflect deep internal corruption. This is an example that helps us understand the seriousness of being around such a person. A simple exercise. Think of 3 recent situations where someone caused harm or discomfort and whether that person acknowledged the impact of their actions. Did they feel remorse or try to correct their mistake? The answer to these questions can reveal a lot about their character, and how you choose to react says a lot about yours. Each of these situations causes significant stress and emotional wear and tear that, when accumulated, can lead to mental and physical health issues. The cost of allowing such an influence in your life is immeasurable. Confucius said, "The superior man is modest in his speech but excels in his actions." And he was right. The absence of remorse reveals an inferior character, incapable of growth and improvement. By recognizing and distancing yourself from these negative influences, you open the way to healthier and more meaningful relationships based on mutual respect and personal growth. Ill-intentioned people often lie to gain something or manipulate others. Who hasn't worked with a colleague who made up stories about their professional achievements, even going as far as fabricating facts to appear better than others? Or a friend who says they were sick and couldn't attend your event, but you later discover they were having fun elsewhere? These lies may seem small and harmless at first, but over time, they erode trust and damage relationships. If someone lies repeatedly, even about simple things, it is a clear sign that this person does not respect you and is willing to sacrifice your trust to gain something. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that a soul with a desire for truth does not tolerate falsehood. Identifying and confronting these lies is essential for maintaining healthy relationships. Honesty is the foundation of any solid relationship. People who lie all the time cannot provide this foundation. If you find that someone around you has a habit of lying, assess the impact this person has on your life. Reflect on what truly matters and whether this relationship is worth your investment. Imagine walking into a room full of people you know, all smiling and chatting. Suddenly, someone enters and, for no apparent reason, a chill runs down your spine. This uncomfortable feeling is a sign that should not be ignored. Our instincts often detect threats before our conscious mind registers them. Think of a moment when you felt this strangeness near someone. It may have been with a colleague, a friend, or even a family member. That feeling is an internal alert. At that moment, it's important to pause and evaluate. Is there something this person is doing or saying that triggers this reaction in you? Try to identify and write down these moments to better understand their origin. Often, we judge others solely by their visible actions, ignoring the subtle signs that reveal their intentions. It's essential to pay attention to these signs, especially because they may indicate the presence of a harmful person. Ask yourself why you keep or allow people in your life who may harm you. Sometimes, the answer lies in the fear of change or the hope that they will change. However, this rarely happens without conscious effort. Always remember, a person's character is revealed in moments of low visibility. That is, by what they do when no one is watching. Pay attention to these strange feelings around certain people. They may be your instinct trying to protect you from negative influences. Value your perceptions and be ready to act to maintain your peace and well-being. And before you forget, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Help us bring more videos like this one. If someone has caused problems for others in the past, it's likely they might do the same to you. This is a valuable principle, especially when it comes to identifying people who may bring negativity or harm into our lives. Imagine you are in a minefield, but you have a map that shows exactly where the mines are. Ignoring this map would be, to say the least, unwise. Similarly, ignoring someone's past behavior can be dangerous, particularly if the person has a history of causing problems or, in previous relationships, instances of infidelity and disrespect. It's natural to want to believe that with you it will be different, that you could be the exception. But we also have to understand that it's more likely and possible that they will continue to do the same to you. Another common scenario is when you start a new job, and your colleagues quickly warn you about a problematic supervisor. They describe how the supervisor takes out their frustrations on subordinates, creates a tense and demotivating work environment, and never takes responsibility for their mistakes. These stories aren't gossip, but warnings based on real experiences. If several people warn you about the same person, it's a clear sign that you need to be cautious. The past doesn't condemn us to behave in exactly the same way. We can all make mistakes and learn from them. But remember, those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Don't ignore obvious signs. Learning from the past is a way to protect your peace and well-being. Be mindful of the history of the people around you and make conscious choices. And if you like this content and want to learn more about how to apply Stoicism in practice, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments.
We have all, at some point, encountered people who seem to drain our energy and make us feel diminished.
One of the most insidious forms of emotional manipulation is contempt.
Imagine being married to someone who, almost every day, criticizes your appearance, pointing out your physical flaws as if they were unforgivable. They act passive-aggressively, saying things like, "You could look better," or, "Why don't you dress nicer?"
These comments aren't constructive. They are cruel and designed to undermine your self-confidence.
Another example is a friend who mocks your interests and passions, belittling your achievements and dreams as if they weren't worthy of respect. They might laugh at your ambitions or hobbies, making you feel like a fool for pursuing your goals. This type of contempt not only hurts but also makes you doubt yourself and your abilities. It's a clear attempt to control your emotions and weaken your self-esteem so that you rely on that person for validation and acceptance.
Think of a blooming flower in a garden.
That flower, full of beauty, is constantly trampled on by someone who claims to take care of the garden but is, in fact, trying to destroy it.
This is the scenario many of us face when dealing with emotional manipulators.
They disguise themselves as friends or partners, but their actions aim to erode our confidence and make us doubt our own perception. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." That's why you must not allow negative thoughts and others' contempt to contaminate your view of yourself.
Recognize the intrinsic value you possess and don't let destructive criticism shape your self-image.
Protect yourself by distancing from those who constantly try to bring you down. Surround yourself with people who value and respect you for who you are.
In Stoicism, we seek to cultivate an environment of growth and positivity. If someone constantly shows contempt for you, it's a clear sign that this person is not interested in your emotional well-being. People who feel the need to prove that they are better than you.
Envy is like a poison that contaminates the soul, dimming the light that shines within each of us.
While it is one of the basic emotions of human nature, according to psychologists, this doesn't make it harmless. Envy destroys relationships, erodes self-esteem, and hinders our growth. We must recognize and combat it in order to live fully.
The envious person always tries to diminish your happiness, making you believe that your achievements are insignificant or that your joys are undeserved. This not only weakens your confidence but also creates distrust and resentment in the relationship.
Identifying these actions is crucial to break this cycle and protect your inner peace.
The negativity of envious people reflects their own insecurities and frustrations. When they are unhappy, they try to drag others into the same emotional state. This attitude isn't necessarily intentional. Many people act this way without even realizing it, but it reflects their own pain and dissatisfaction.
Understanding this helps to develop compassion, but also to set healthy boundaries to protect your emotional well-being. Facing envy requires a practical approach. First, value your achievements regardless of others' opinions. Recognizing your own worth strengthens your resilience against attempts to demoralize or your dependence on the approval of others.
Additionally, surrounding yourself with positive people who encourage your success creates an environment conducive to growth and happiness. Gratitude is a powerful tool against envy. Appreciating what you have and celebrating the successes of others reduces negative feelings. Practicing gratitude helps us focus on the positive and opens us to joy and abundance, transforming our relationship with the world and with ourselves. Remember that we all have the power to change our attitudes and our lives, and be certain that no one can make us feel inferior without our consent. Recognizing envy and taking steps to combat it is a significant step toward personal growth. Adopting a positive and constructive attitude improves our lives and inspires others to do the same. Transformation begins within us and spreads, creating a positive impact in our community and in the world.
Mistreating animals is a clear sign of cruelty and may indicate deep issues within someone's character. If you know someone who acts abusively or neglectfully toward animals, consider distancing yourself from that person.
Imagine a neighbor who likes to demonstrate their authority and power by yelling at their dog or hitting it for any reason. These actions not only cause suffering to the animal but also show a lack of empathy and emotional control on the part of the abuser. This abusive behavior can spill over into other areas of the person's life, revealing a pattern of cruelty and disrespect. Another example is someone who keeps their animals in deplorable conditions, without proper care in terms of food, hygiene, or health.
This neglect shows a complete lack of respect for the life and well-being of the animals. Such actions should not be ignored, minimized, or justified.
If you suspect someone is cruel to animals, consider distancing yourself and, if possible, report the behavior to the relevant authorities to protect the animals.
And ask yourself,
is it worth staying close to someone who shows such insensitivity and cruelty? As Mahatma Gandhi said, the greatness of a nation can be judged by the way its animals are treated.
Another sign is that bad people take advantage of your goodwill.
Have you ever noticed how some people always benefit from your kindness, leaving you with the feeling of being used? The truth is, your goodwill, though an admirable virtue, can become a weakness in the wrong hands. A study published in the Journal of Research in Personality showed that people with high levels of anxiety, empathy, and compassion tend to seek the company of dominant people. They end up submitting to others' demands, becoming easy targets for energy vampires. Bad people know how to exploit others' generosity for their own benefit. But this doesn't have to be your fate. You can protect your kindness without losing your essence. Kindness is a precious quality that lights up the world and makes a difference in the lives of others. However, if not used wisely, it can attract people who seek to take advantage of it.
These people manipulate your emotions and use your desire to help against you. Recognizing this behavior is the first step to changing this dynamic. Protecting yourself is not selfish, it's a form of self-value.
As the Bible says in Matthew chapter 7 verse 6, do not throw your pearls to pigs. This means we should not give what is most precious to us to those who do not recognize its value.
Setting boundaries is essential. Think of your goodwill as a garden. Without a fence, anyone can enter and trample or uproot your flowers. With boundaries, you only allow entry to those who respect and value your space. Saying no does not diminish your kindness, but makes it more valuable. Learning to say no is a necessary form of self-care. In addition to setting boundaries, it's important to recognize people's true intentions. Observe their actions, not just their words. Those who truly appreciate your kindness show reciprocity and respect. Healthy relationships are based on mutual exchange, not exploitation. Protecting your kindness makes you wiser, not less generous. Reflect on the times you've been exploited and use those experiences to grow. Every disappointment is an opportunity to strengthen your emotional resilience. Stoicism can help you by focusing on what you can control, your actions, and letting go of what you cannot control, the actions of others. Remember, true kindness comes from strength. By protecting your kindness, you make it purer and more impactful. Your ability to do good is greater when you are balanced and aware of your limits. Continue to be a light in the world, but do so with wisdom, protecting yourself from those who want to dim your shine. Some people will act this way for no reason, simply because they cannot stand to see the goodness, joy, and moral growth of others. Thank you for always being there.